Greetings, ladies and milligents, and welcome to today's edition of Read TVOS, where I take old stories I've narrated and update into modern audio standards. This particular story is called Please Hold, written by Black Knight 123. Bleed, this is Spirit 2-1. Markers leaving the Senate building now. Northwest door. Lead copies, Spirit pursuing. The entourage of lanky bipedal aliens were slipping gracefully through the ravenous crowd of galactic reporters that always accompanied the inflammatory Senate hearing. The pursuit squad had to admire their efficiency as they struggled to push through the same crowd, following their targets without attracting any unwanted attention. The three were Vicant Shadows, the highest caliber stealth units the Viker forces had to offer. They were damn good at it. Brushing the low-born reporters aside, the three continued training the small group of senators in their protectorate, not once alerting their mark to anything amiss. The tall, thin squadron they pursued was subject to the escalating tensions and fiery comments of today's Senate debate. The isolation of species continued to toy with other representatives as the pressure of the Alliance war weighed down on the Confederate. Already, a not insignificant number of Senate booths were dark and unoccupied, showing that their representatives had either joined with the cessationists or been exterminated for opposing them. Things had come to a head earlier in the day when this new species had been called upon to provide information about their interstellar holdings and defense budgets. What followed was the most succinct and powerful defense of secrecy and privacy the Senate had ever experienced. This fledgling species had taken a book, added a few pages, and threw it back in the senators' faces. The Vicant representatives had taken particular offense to this, seeing as they had just concluded a moderately successful campaign against the Alliance, reclaiming the home world of their close allies, the Moloch Tuck, after arguing that every civilization had a moral imperative to contribute to the defense of Confederate space. The humans had vehemently refused and promptly left the Senate Hall. The Vicant representatives had immediately called up his shadows to pursue and investigate this upstart species. Lead, this is Spirit 2-2, mark approaching vessel. Window is closing. The three shadows immediately picked up the pace, throwing caution to the wind as they raced forward to get the sight line on the strange vessel. The target senators and their protectorates ascended the ramp, and the ship was powering up, lights flickering along the unfamiliar circular craft. The lead shadow broke from the crowd and ran towards the escaping craft, retrieving and extending a personal projectile launcher from its pack. The shadow activated its magnetic payload and crouched to stabilize the shot. The ship was in the air and starting to pull away when the lead shadow fired. With the familiar hum-thump that accompanied any railgun shot, the projectile slammed into the underbody of the circular craft. The ship leapt away from the Senate station. "Come on, this is Shadow Lead. Tracker secured and transmitting. Affirm Lead. We've got a lock on the signal. Jump coordinates were picked up. Good job. Recall." The strange craft had jumped to FTL from the station. The Vicants now had the coordinates of the new species' homeworld. Several weeks later, it was another infuriating Senate debate for the Vicant ambassador. The lanky, disruptive aliens refused to contribute even the smallest piece of information to the Confederate military effort, remaining aloof and isolated among the stars. In the weeks since their homeworld had been discovered, the Vicants had launched several recon expeditions into the species' local system in an attempt to determine any additional intel they could. What they found was negligible: a small fleet, some orbital defenses, and satellite arrays. Nothing out of the ordinary, and nothing that gave these blasted bureaucrats the right to avoid their Confederate defense requirements. Emboldened by this information, the Vicant ambassador raised a vote to remove these upstarts from the Confederation, on violation of their constitutional mandate to provide for the common defense of Confederate space. The species threw the book back at him again. The vote failed. Enraged, the Vicant representative took the floor and, speaking directly to their senators, gave them the ultimatum: either withdraw voluntarily from the collective, or the Vicant Navy would descend upon their secret homeworld and forcibly annex them, adding more resources to their already considerable Vicant coffers. Accompanying this declaration, the Vicant senator also projected a set of coordinates for the entire Senate to see. "These are the coordinates of this upstart secret homeworld," he espoused. "We, the might of the Confederate, will descend upon their world and force them to provide resources to the war effort. If they refuse—" He, the senator, grunted nastily, exposed the jagged teeth of the Vicant hinged jaw, a sign of aggression. "If any wish to join this war effort in punishing this upstart civilization, join me." The Moltluk representative chittered in agreement, its mandibles cracking in excitement. The Viking ambassador turned again to the species representative and growled furiously, "You will pay for this diplomat's foolery. You have made a mockery of the Senate, and for that, your world will burn." "We will see," stated one of the ambassadors. The Senate pod went dark, indicating that the representatives had left. No other species dared oppose the Vikings. They, for sole reason the Alliance, sworn enemy of the Confederation, had not yet darkened their own pods. 2 days later, the Viking 7th Fleet dropped out of FTL warp inside the orbit of Saturn. Several Moloch-Tuck light cruisers and support craft accompanied them, bolstering their ranks into an excessive force that could easily overwhelm even an established civilization's defense forces. "Attack formation Epsilon Rho," commander of the fleet admiral from the bridge. "Shield our allies. Support craft. Expand forward deflectors. Call general quarters. Begin the advance." That's when the lights went out. "Report," commanded the admiral. He was furious. What species fought with trickery and disabled warships to pick off before battle even began? "We are currently behind," came the call from navigation. "All weapons are locked in warp position, sir. We have no offensive capability," yelled the gunnery lead. "Incoming transmission, sir," came the call from communications. "Put it up. What do these cowards want?" the admiral replied. The display shuddered into existence. An automated voice rang out. "Welcome to Earth's sovereign territory. We have detected that you are a hostile entity. Please take a number, and you will be helped momentarily. All Earth representatives are currently busy. Please hold. Your ships will be reactivated soon. Please do not panic. Welcome to Earth's sovereign territory. We have detected that you are a hostile entity. Please mute that transmission," the admiral called, "and take a number." At his call, a number appeared on the top left corner of the screen, and a ticker displayed in top right. There were at least 100 numbers between the two. Several hours later. "Hello, I'm the Department of Earth Defense representative. My name is Tammy. How may I help you today?" "Finally!" the admiral shouted, his temper rising again as it had suffered over the past few hours of being on hold. "I am Admiral Vark of the Viking 7th Fleet. We are here to forcibly annex your planet and commit its resources to the Confederate Defense Fund." "Oh my," came the bored reply. Have you filled your offensive intent form 78AB? We can't proceed with your invasion until you've filed that, as well as the Rules of Engagement Form ROE 192 and the Terms of Surrender Mutual Form SMF 26. I've taken the liberty of finding out the human side of the form SMF 26, but you'll need to complete those before proceeding. Thank you for contacting the Department of Earth Defense. I wish you luck in your invasion. Goodbye. No, wait, commanded the Admiral, but it was too late. The line went dead. "Connect us again," he screamed, infuriated. "Complete those forms too." Patchy, heavily compressed audio began playing out of the speaker, followed by an automated voice saying, "Please hold. All representatives are currently occupied. Please hold." Several hours later. "Hello, I am Department of Earth representative. My name is Jonathan. How may I help you today?" "I am Admiral Vark of the Viking 7th Fleet. I have enough firepower at my command right now to crack open your planet's core. I've filed all the paperwork one of your representatives gave me, and I'm now going to destroy you." The last sentence came out as a shout. The infuriated admiral was tired of drifting listlessly in space, helpless to the bureaucracy of this fledgling civilization. "Oh my," came the bored reply. "It appears your paperwork is in order. I'll go ahead and approve your invasion force. Your ships will be reactivated in a few moments, and a Terran Navy cruiser will come to assist you. I hope you enjoy your invasion. Please take a moment to rank our response and time and customer service personnel now, instead of upon completion of your invasion. In the event that you become indisposed, I'm transferring you now to our naval representatives. Please hold." The infuriating sound of hold music again rose from the viewport speakers. After several minutes, it was interrupted by the hail of the Morlock-Talk captain, who was impatient. "I'm tired of waiting, Admiral," he said. "I'm leaving. These Terrans aren't going to fight us." With that, the Morlock-Tuck engineering support craft powered up, turned, and warped out of the system. "Cowards!" thundered the Admiral. "We will triumph over these humans, no matter how long it takes. We will wait for months if we have to. All hands, general quarters. I want to be ready the moment we are engaged." Several hours later. "Hello, my name is Captain John Smith, and I am the captain aboard the Terran light cruiser TUN Magna Carta, here to provide a timeline on when you may begin your legal and approved invasion. Thanks for sticking with us so far. Your ships will be powering up now. Please follow the illuminated path in front of you to the battleground so that we may begin your invasion. Thank you, and have a nice rest of your day. I will crack open your planet and desecrate your people, raged the Admiral through the communications channel. I will not be told where to go or when to attack. This is warfare, and my fleet will fill this useless corner of the galaxy with the dust of your charred ashes. I find that rather unfortunate, Admiral. If you do not comply and follow the illuminated path, your invasion will be considered null and void, and you'll be forced to reapply for approval. I highly recommend that you don't let that happen. Getting approved for a second invasion is much, much harder. I will follow the path, Captain. No need to be hasty, Admiral Vock muttered meekly, guiding his fleet forward along the illuminated path ahead of him. I am glad to hear that, Admiral. When you reach the designated zone, you're welcome to power up your weapons and prepare however you'd like. Please contact Earth Defense Department extension FORC-35 when you are ready, and we'll send a force to repulse you. Thank you. Please hold. We're ready now. We're going to attach rockets to your asteroid belt and slam your planet with them. Thousands of kinetic projectiles in a way that your world has never seen before. We will shatter your moon and use its mass as a barrier to block any pitiful attempt to retaliation by your weakened undeveloped houses. The line was silent, except for the infernal hold music. No one has heard his screaming except his own crew. He directed his fleet to the battle zone. Call that number. Get the force here to fight us so that we may prove our superiority, commanded the Admiral. I've had enough of this bureaucracy. An automated voice buzzed from the speaker. Thank you for calling Earth Defense Department, Force Response Sub-Department. The next available forces will be on the way in your position in 4.5 years. Please do not begin your attack until our representative has arrived. Otherwise, your invasion will be considered void, and you'll be destroyed. I'm out, said the Admiral. Get us out of here. I'm so tired of being on hold. They can't keep their goddamn resources. End of story. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Casper Arnholt, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.